What's up guys, Intelitech Studios here, and today I'm going to go ahead and do a review of the Bissell CleanView 2 Bagless Deluxe. I've had this vacuum for quite a while. I did a demo on it right after I got it, as well as a couple of videos about me getting it. As you guys know, I got this machine along with the Powerglide Platinum from Fan of Vacuums 2, lovely friend of mine. And yeah, I'm still very happy with it, although I don't use this very often. In fact, since the demo, I kind of cleaned it up and just sort of keep it. I don't really use it all that often. Mostly just because I am not the biggest fan of this filter setup, but I do still enjoy this machine. It is still pretty much my favorite CleanView out of the entire series. Of course, many collectors like myself generally prefer the CleanView Helix, but in my opinion, I like the setup on the CleanView 2 a lot better. And yes, while the original CleanView, specifically the 8990 model, is my favorite CleanView, it's still not necessarily my CleanView of choice, just because of the fact that it's very, very difficult to maintain, and trying to find one in good condition is extremely difficult, near impossible, without just having a replacement motor. And and obviously replacing the motor costs more than what the machine is worth. So yeah, for a collector, it's fine, but for an average consumer just using the machine, this one seems like, well, I shouldn't say average consumer, because obviously I'm not an average consumer, but for someone who wants to actually use the vacuum, it seems like this is pretty much the best one in the lineup, or at least I prefer the CleanView 2 Plus, even though it's the exact same as a Deluxe feature-wise, but the color scheme's just a bit different. But there's actually a few collectors as well who have this exact machine. I think Vacuum and Carpet Cleaner Guy, formerly Gamer6472, has one of these. I believe Cameron42 just got one of these, if I'm not mistaken. I know he had the Plus variant, but that died in a flood, I think. But I think he has this version now, as well as the CleanView Power Track, the same one that I used to have, only his is in beautiful condition, and I'm kind of jealous of that. But you know, also I have the Powerglide, so it's all good. I really need to get all of the vacuum people together, and we can just like have like a convention or something, because I think there is one in Atlanta, Georgia. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. The point is that this machine is one that I do really enjoy, even if I don't use it all that often. As far as what I've done to it, I've added a HEPA filter to it, which I don't think this came with it when I got it. I could be wrong though, or maybe it did. I think it had one, but I think it was kind of old and grungy, so I threw it out and put a new one in. Also, the brush has been sort of taken care of, and it's in really good condition as well. Let's see, did I put this brush in, or is this the one that came with it? I can't remember at this point, but either way, it's still really nice. It cleans the carpet very well. Obviously, the filtration is incredibly abhorrent and not at all a strong suit of this machine. Any collector who's honest with themselves, even the ones who like Bissell's, are honest about that the filtration on this is extremely poor and constantly leads to these machines dying, even if you do have a relatively solid schedule of maintenance with it. Although, with the average consumer who doesn't take care of their machines and will just empty the bin for about a year and then finally clean the filter when it's all plugged up, those will generally end up destroying the machine, as all those particulates end up going through the motor and spitting back out of the vacuum, and you know, it's just not pleasant. But thankfully, this one seems to have been well taken care of, or at the very least, very well serviced by Fan of Vacuums 2. It sounds wonderful. One person in the demo commented and said that it sounded bad, but honestly, I just turned it on just now, and it sounds perfectly fine to me. So, I don't know, maybe it's just the wind down sounds a little bit funky, but again, I'm not really concerned about that. So, as far as the features of this thing, obviously it has the turbo brush. Again, I have a few different turbo brushes, so I may have ended up sticking a different one on the front of it than the one that it had, but either way, has a turbo brush, has a HEPA filter, has the giant clear stretch hose, which now is kind of stretched out a bit and kinked a little bit, but it's not actually blocking the air path in any way, unlike it is on my Powerglide Platinum, so, but it still gets the job done. Got the combo tool, extension wand, crevice tool. Again, I can't remember off the top of my head if I put these with it or not. I actually, no, I do remember. These I did add that only had the turbo brush with it. And I believe it was the same story with the Platinum. But I could be remembering it correctly. This was like a year ago after all. But yeah, so I do really like this. I do really like this vacuum. Even though I don't use it all that often, it is still one that I really enjoy. I like having the headlight. It's relatively lightweight. It gets the job done as far as cleaning performance goes. Emptying the machine is kind of a pain because, of course, you have the open, exposed dirt cup, and as a result, you constantly get dust and stuff, both inside this chassis as well as all over the filters and in the motor. So obviously we know that we have the dual layer filter on the bottom. So we have this little 2-layer filter right here. You got the outer foam filter and the inner pleated circular filter. And then, of course, you have the pre-motor filter, which is this little electrostatic sponge-looking thing. And then, of course, you have the upper tank filter. So you have all that. And, you can just twist that back in place. And, of course, that tries to separate the larger particles. But the channels are pretty large, so a lot of big debris will still go through here and then get stuck in the filter. And of course there's a not very good seal down here, so a lot of that you'll a lot of times see materials actually on this filter. So again, filtration isn't that good, but for a collector, for someone like me or many other people who have these in the YouTube vacuum collecting community, who are able to take good care of it and service it after every single use, because you really need to, after every single vacuuming, take this whole machine apart and clean out all the filters in order to get this thing to stay in good condition without having to open it up every few years and wipe down the motor, then yeah, that's kind of what you have to do, and that kind of comes with the territory. So it's understandable why these things aren't really on the market anymore, just from that perspective, because obviously that didn't make Bissell look good. There were a lot of negative reviews of this thing whenever it came out for that reason. But again, I still really like it. It has 7 height adjustments, huge cleaning path, 12 amp motor, which since it has the headlight is justified. It still has the combo tool, unlike the regular CleanView, which just has a dusting brush. And yeah, and the hose is still a great length. It's still lightweight enough to where you can actually use it, yet it still has a decent amount of features. This thing is pretty much feature parity to my Powerglide Platinum, although the Powerglide Platinum is more so a feature parity to the CleanView Revolution, or the CleanView PowerTrack Plus. I think there's one called that, I'm pretty sure, something to that effect. Since, this doesn't have the PowerTrack base, it just has the wide path base. But anyways, I'm getting off topic, so let's go ahead and just run this for a little bit and, see if it still runs right. So yeah, even though I just vacuumed this little spot of carpet with the Dirt Devil, this thing still pulled up a decent amount. That new quality brush roll is really doing its trick, and you can see the containers already full of fine dust and various other things, specifically the filter. You can see the filter cage is already clouded up with dust. So again, like, that was just a very small section of carpet. So again, if I was to vacuum the entire house with this, I would have to completely clean this thing out, which I have done a couple of times that I've used this. However, I do still really like it. It's still a very nice machine, and I'm definitely happy to have it. And yeah, as far as just the overall opinion of it, if you get one of these and they are in good shape, definitely pick it up. I do still prefer these to the newer CleanViews, even though I don't like the filter setup as much, and that's why I generally use my PowerForce Helix Turbo 2190 more so as a daily driver over this, just because of the better, in my opinion, better Cyclone setup. But again, this definitely has its use, and the hose is definitely a lot nicer as well. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. This machine is definitely a very nice one, and of course it's one that you've seen a couple different times, and I really like it. So yeah, this is Intelitech Studios signing out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.